Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
In 2014, a man named Ethan and his wife Danny were spending a weekend together on Vancouver Island, which they had done many times before. The couple has a lot of experience on the island and just camping in general. Vancouver Island provides an optimal camping setting because of its mix of scenic beaches and dense forest. The couple had many successful camping trips on the island, until something truly terrifying happened.
Do you enjoy camping? I'm not much of a camper type, but I guess I can sort of see the thrill of it, even though I have no desire to go camping at all. But there's nothing like sitting around a campfire at night and roasting hot dogs and marshmallows, isn't there? Like, there's nothing like that. And there have been times where I have done that out in the wilderness and roasting marshmallows. Like, there is nothing like making a s'more around a campfire out in the wilderness. Like, there is nothing like it. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoy camping.
To them on their final outing on the islands. Ethan and Danny were far from any roads or civilization, enjoying the solitude. They set up camp on a beach a good distance from anywhere and kept a fire going. To get to the trail leaving the beach was a kilometer along the beach and 2 kilometers to the road through the forest. The couple had met another camper named Leon from New Zealand, who they ran into earlier that day on the beach. Leon was planning on sleeping in his van, which he parked back up on the road. The couple invited him down to the beach for a fire, and the three shared a bottle of wine, talking amongst themselves around the fire.
Would you have invited someone that you just met on a camping trip down to join you? I'm not sure I would. If I was out camping with someone, I'd probably just want to be left alone. I'm not the type to invite strangers along like that. But yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments if you would do the same thing, because I feel like that's sort of how a horror story gets started. Like, just inviting some random stranger to your group like that. But yeah, I don't know, that's just my thought.
This is where things started to get a little creepy. The sun was starting to go down by this point, and the trio kept hearing what sounded like female voices from behind them in the bushes, dividing the beach from the forest. It wasn't too dark out yet though, so it was still possible that they were just other hikers or campers nearby, or even a group who anchored offshore and the sound was just bouncing in a weird way. All three of them could agree that they were hearing female voices though. On that note, it was getting late and a little dark, so Leon said goodbye and set out to hike back to his car before it was too dark. Ethan and Danny stayed by their campsite and stoked the fire because Danny was starting to get creeped out by the voices, which continued on into the darkness. It sounded like 2 female voices speaking, but
that would be super creepy, wouldn't it? Just to hear 2 female voices like that just keep on sort of echoing like that in the distance off into the night. Like, damn, that is some spooky crap right there.
Whatever that was being said was unintelligible. It sounded to the couple like the voices were not far beyond the tree line now. They stayed up very late tending to the fire, and only when the voices had finally stopped, they decided to put out the fire and go to sleep in the tent. Before doing so, the two had scanned the cove with a flashlight several times looking for boats that could have been the source of the talking, but there was nothing in sight. It was around 3 a.m. when they laid down finally, ready to catch some shut-eye. But about 15 minutes after they laid down, Ethan and Danny heard footsteps in the area around their campsite, over by where the fire was. They came from the direction of the bushes toward the inland behind them, a direction that was not traversable by people. The couple lay there, hoping it was just a bear or any animal, because the only bears on the island are black bears, which usually are very timid around people. The footsteps went from the fire, then over to the tent, then back into the woods. 5 minutes later, the footsteps came back again to the fire, and now, clear as day, there were 2 female voices talking gibberish very loudly. Their communication was not resembling any languages known to Ethan or Danny, and they seemed to be talking over each other, having what could barely...
That is freaky, isn't it? An unknown language? Like, wow. This just keeps getting weirder and weirder, doesn't it?
Be considered to be a conversation at full volume in the dead of night, very far away from civilization, without using lights to navigate through the dense brush relatively quietly in a direction that seemed impossible to traverse on foot. The two voices moved from the fire pit area over to the tent, still talking at a loud volume. They stood over the tent talking for a few seconds, then went completely dead as night silent. They went back into the woods to never be seen or heard again. Ethan and Danny lay there completely frozen and afraid for a long time. They woke up around 11 a.m. the next day because of how late they fell asleep. They packed up first thing and never returned. The couple probably made the best decision to remain quiet in the tent, not drawing attention to themselves from whoever or whatever was outside the tent.
Yeah, I think that the couple did the best thing to stay quiet like that. What do you think? I mean, that is some pretty weird crap right there. I'm not gonna lie. And what do you think that whole thing was about? Anyways, like, I can't even fathom to think about what was going on there. And I think the thing that made it the weirdest was the language. And I kind of like how Mr. Nightmare at the end said whoever or whatever it was, because maybe it was some weird, I don't know, governmental experimental thing gone wrong. Like, I feel like maybe that's a bit far-fetched, but it's pretty spooky to hear two ladies gibbering like that, just gibberish, super late at night. I mean, 3 a.m, like, that's not normal. But I thought this was a creepy story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and the music, and I will see you in the next video.